B2B digital marketing, best practices for scale. Digital is now your first sales rep. B2B buyers don't buy the way they used to, and the teams that win are the ones who build a digital engine that reliably turns interest into qualified meetings. Today, roughly 67% of the B2B buyer journey happens online, and 61% of decision makers start with a search engine, long before they ever reply to a rep. If your brand doesn't show up during that self-serve research, your SDRs and AEs inherit an uphill battle that looks like more outbound, but is really missing demand capture. The goal of scalable B2B digital marketing isn't page views, it's predictable pipeline. That means every channel you run, SEO, content, paid, email, and outbound follow-up, needs to be built around buying intent, not vanity traffic. When those pieces are aligned, your website becomes a conversion asset that supports sales conversations instead of competing with them. At SalesHive, we see the same pattern across industries. Teams scale fastest when they treat digital as an integrated demand system with clear ownership and fast human response. Digital creates the signal, and a strong SDR motion converts that signal into meetings. If your strategy ends at publish content, you're leaving revenue on the table. Why SEO still anchors scale even as AI changes search. SEO remains the backbone because it captures demand at the moment buyers are actively looking for answers. On average, organic search drives about 53% of B2B website traffic, which means it often contributes more first-touch discovery than any other channel. Done well, SEO also tends to produce higher intent conversations because the buyer is already in research mode, not being interrupted. What's changed is how much of that research happens without clicks. AI overviews and zero-click results are compressing traditional organic opportunities, so ranking is necessary but not sufficient. The teams that keep winning pair SEO visibility with stronger lead capture, clear CTAs, email capture, demo paths, and tighter outbound follow-up when a buyer does raise their hand. Buyers are also raising the bar on experience. An estimated 80% of B2B buyers now expect a B2C-like journey with personalization, clarity, and low friction. In practice, that means your site has to load fast, explain value in plain language, and guide visitors to the next step without making them work for it. If your digital experience feels dated, your close rates will suffer even if your product is strong. Start with ICP clarity, not keyword volume. Most SEO problems are actually ICP problems. Before you chase rankings, we recommend aligning marketing, SDRs, and AEs on a tight, ideal customer profile and a short list of priority use cases. Then mapping the questions buyers ask from early research through vendor selection. That journey map becomes your content and search roadmap, and it keeps your team focused on topics that lead to meetings instead of traffic that looks good in a dashboard. This is also how you prevent one of the most common scaling mistakes, chasing broad, top-of-funnel keywords that attract the wrong audience. Broad traffic can inflate sessions while conversion stays flat, which creates internal mistrust. Marketing is busy, but sales is starving. Revenue scale comes from intent-led topics, problems, trigger events, best X for Y, comparisons, alternatives, pricing context, ROI, implementation, and integrations. When the ICP is clear, your sales motion gets clearer too. Your SDR team can use the same use case language in scripts and cadences, so outreach feels like a continuation of what the buyer just read, not a cold restart. This is where a modern SDR agency or sales development agency can be a force multiplier. Execution scales, but the message stays consistent because it's anchored in the same ICP playbook. Build revenue pages that convert curiosity into contacts. Scalable content isn't more blogs. It's the right pages built for the moments buyers are making decisions. We like to start with 5 to 10 high-intent landing pages tied to core use cases, solution for industry searches, competitor alternatives, and pricing and ROI expectations. Each page should do the work your best rep would do on a first call. Clarify the problem, explain the approach, prove credibility, and reduce perceived risk. Design content for sales conversations, not just search bots. High-performing pages include implementation details, common objections with direct answers, and proof points that sales can reuse in emails and calls. This is also where lead capture matters. If AI answers reduce clicks, the visits you do earn need a clear next step. Book a meeting, request a demo, or capture email for a relevant follow-up sequence. Finally, treat SEO leads like VIPs. Benchmarks often show SEO leads closing at about 14.6%, compared to roughly 1.7% for outbound. So the operational response can't be casual. If a buyer arrives from a high-intent page and fills out a form, your process should route and respond in minutes, not hours, with outreach tailored to the page they engaged with. Scale happens when SEO creates intent, your site captures it cleanly, and SDRs follow up fast enough that the buyer never has time to keep looking. Operationalize speed to lead with SDR ownership. The biggest pipeline leak in digital marketing isn't ranking, it's response time. When inbound leads sit in a queue with no SDR ownership, you lose the moment of intent and teach the buyer that you're slow. The fix is simple and operational. Define inbound ownership, build routing rules, and enforce an SLA so demo requests and high-intent downloads get a human response in under 15 minutes. Email is still the revenue workhorse when it's relevant and timely. Around 59% of B2B marketers cite email as their most effective revenue-generating channel, and 73% of B2B buyers prefer email outreach, so long as it's personalized and context-driven. That's why we recommend pairing inbound follow-up with a short, intent-based nurture sequence that references the exact page, use case, or asset the buyer engaged with. To make this execution easy for reps, standardize what good follow-up looks like by channel. Your SDR should have talk tracks and email templates mapped to the top pages, and your CRM should automatically create tasks and alerts so no lead is missed. If you're using sales outsourcing or an outsourced sales team, insist on the same SLAs and page-level context so the buyer experience stays consistent. Use paid search and retargeting as a safety net, not a crutch. In competitive categories, you won't own every keyword organically, especially with AI features pushing listings down the page. That's where paid search and retargeting earn their keep. They backstop gaps while your SEO program matures and help you stay visible on the handful of terms that consistently convert to meetings. The key is to keep campaigns tightly themed, send clicks to high-intent pages, and measure success in sales outcomes, not CTR. One common mistake is scaling spend before tracking and attribution are solid. If your UTMs are messy and your CRM fields aren't standardized, you'll end up debating opinions instead of optimizing based on pipeline. Put the plumbing in place first. Source, medium, campaign hygiene, lead stages, and opportunity attribution. Then scale the campaigns and keywords that reliably create qualified opportunities. Paid works best when it's integrated with SDR follow-up. When someone clicks a competitor alternatives page, visits pricing, or returns multiple times via retargeting, that's a real buying signal, not marketing engagement. Whether you run this in-house or through a B2B sales agency or outbound sales agency, the playbook should trigger fast outreach tied to the exact intent you observed. Turn SDR insights into a monthly revenue content loop. Your outbound team hears the truth every day: objections, competitor mentions, budget friction, and the exact phrases buyers use to describe their pain. If that intelligence doesn't feed your content roadmap, you're forcing marketing to guess while sales repeats the same explanations on calls. A simple monthly voice of customer sync is enough to turn real conversations into FAQs, comparison pages, and case studies that rank and convert. This is also where email performance improves dramatically. If 73% of buyers prefer email, your advantage comes from relevance. Referencing the buyer's industry, use case, or the resource they engaged with, then offering a next step that matches that context. Teams often hire a cold email agency or invest in AI personalization, but the biggest win usually comes from message market fit and tight alignment with what prospects are already researching. Don't forget enablement. Every strong piece of content should be easy for reps to use. Give SDR a short when to send this guidance, a one-sentence TLDR they can paste into outreach, and a clear CTA that frames a conversation. That's how content stops being marketing collateral and becomes sales ammunition. Next steps: future-proof for AI search and scale meetings predictably. Digital content is now a direct revenue lever. About 60% of B2B buyers say digital content drives their final purchase decision. That's the standard. Your site and content need to help buyers decide, not just help Google understand your pages. The practical play is to build authoritative, structured content that can win snippets and be referenced in AI-driven discovery, while still guiding the human visitor toward a clear conversion path. If you want a simple execution sequence, start with alignment and ownership. Lock the ICP and use cases, ship the high-intent pages, then tighten routing and SLAs so inbound demand becomes meetings quickly. Add an always-on paid safety net for your most important keywords and retargeting audiences, and run the monthly SDR to content feedback loop so your messaging stays grounded in real objections. You'll know it's working when your key metrics move together: higher conversion rate by page, faster speed to lead, better meeting rates, and more opportunities credited to digital touchpoints. When you don't have the internal bandwidth to do fast, consistent follow-up, that's where SalesHive can help. We operate as a sales outsourcing partner with US and Philippines-based SDR teams, supporting cold calling services, personalized email, list building, and appointment setting, so digital intent doesn't die in a queue. Whether you're looking for a cold calling agency, an SDR agency, or an outsourced sales team that can execute tightly against your ICP, the goal is the same: turn digital demand into qualified meetings at scale.